Well, welcome back. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee. I'm here with my show host,
Co-host.
again. I did it.
Show host,
Charlene
co-host.
Chamberlain. I know it's the same thing,
That's
but it just
okay.
sounds different.
Say it together.
Yeah.
Show host, co-host.
Show host, co-host. So I love that. So we've had a great morning. Again, another great morning. So,
Yeah.
Char, who do we have next for our next
Mr.
guest?
Alex Evans is with us, and let me see if I can give you his complete title. He is a communication strategist and an interpersonal consultant and coach.
Yeah, I would say
Wow,
that.
that's
Welcome
a
to the
mouthful.
show.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
a
you.
lot. You do a lot.
Well, it's all the same thing. The thread that ties between all that is we all have interpersonal relationships. The only thing that changes is the environment that we operate in. So
True.
today we'll talk about, I guess, the business environment.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The business environment is definitely serious, and I think it's changing.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you see the business environment from 10 years ago to now?
Well, a lot of people have a lot more autonomy in a sense because people are working vertically, meaning from home. And if you look at the data tells you when you work at home, you work longer hours. So
True.
it's hard to disengage from your home activity with your family duties, or if your son plays sports like mine do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're on all the time, so you got to
Yeah.
do that separation of church and state.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I know. I find myself, I leave here, I go home, I do some work, I make dinner, and then I'm get on the computer again for a couple hours at night doing
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah,
It doesn't ever stop.
that's that.
It's hard.
But I wonder if the work is better when you're at home versus when you're in the office. I mean, I guess that would be the
Quality.
The quality
Yeah.
is the quality of work better when you're at home versus.
Well, I think that because you're at home, you feel like you have to do more, put extra
Right.
in, just to validate your worth.
Right.
So it could be. I mean, I don't know the data on that, but it could be. I mean, because
Right.
you're not in the office, no one's seeing you, so you want to make sure
Right.
whatever you
True.
put in is a standard of excellence.
Right.
But then it could go
The
the other
standard.
way too, because you're home and like, oh, I have to make dinner. I'm going to do laundry.
Yeah.
I have to go
Well, you
get
probably
my
get pulled back to the
kids
office.
up. Yeah, get back to the office.
So Alex, for business, what are the main things that you're seeing for the business world as far as, like you said, there was three components.
Three components, yeah. I would say one is communication.
Okay.
Are we clear in how we communicate with one another? And along with that is expectations. And then,
Biggest thing.
as the market is shrinking, there's more duty and responsibility assigned to those who are left. So
True.
if you're not, so then it's the other component, engagement. Because just because I'm present, that don't mean I'm engaged.
Right.
So, every employee and I think every human needs, I would say four things: encouragement, support, acknowledgement, and recognition. And without those things, sometimes that's a higher value than monetary value, because when people are recognized and welcome, or recognized and acknowledged, then you feel like you're a valuable contributor.
I agree with you 100% coming from the corporate world. I do. I think a lot that lacks in the corporate world, I
Mhm.
think. Well, for some corporations, but
That also builds self-esteem in your employee or your worker as well.
And I would say on the expectation component, are the expectations realistic? Are the goals set too high where it causes discouragement and discomfort and a lack of engagement? Or is they set appropriately for the task at hand? And how do you communicate that effectively to those who you may supervise, those who may manage, and also your external clients as well?
Right.
you're right. I think you set up for failure. But you know what? How do you tie? I guess in your opinion, how do you tie the vision with the expectation? Because I'm a visionary. Well, at least
Yeah.
I consider myself a visionary.
In your
But like
mind.
in my
You are.
mind,
Yeah, we all
It's
are.
good to have
We all
vision.
are.
it's good to have
We all
vision.
are.
But I feel like my vision sometimes interrupts. I guess that structure of like how it can be, accomplished.
Well, I would say creative people are visionary.
Mhm.
So, and they don't like being conformed to a construct.
True.
So that's what you battle
Yeah,
against, because your
absolutely.
creativity takes you
That's-
out of the
That
bounds of
squelches it.
that squelches
Yeah.
it. So I think one, just having benchmarks and having someone holding you accountable for the things you want to achieve to make sure you're on track and you don't go off track when you setting that vision forth. In the workplace as well, when it comes to, is the vision clear to those who are involved in the task at hand? And is that communicated? That's why I say, is it communicated clearly that they have a clear understanding what they're expected to do in a timely fashion. Because that's where the disruption happens. Because I have a thing, a lot of us we do interpretation without clarification.
Okay.
We assume people know what we mean when we begin to have these conversations. And if you interpret without clarifying, then it's confrontation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you have
Absolutely.
like hurt feelings because some person thinks you mean one thing and you absolutely don't. You mean something different, and then there's a separation.
Absolutely. I agree
Right?
with that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so communication is key, and you really need to be clear in what you're saying or what you're asking.
Yeah, and then I would say even get clarity to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Say it back to me.
Say it back to me.
Right.
Here's another thing in the workplace dynamic, because where there's people, there's conflict. Where there's conflict, there's
Absolutely.
engagement, there's disagreement and difference, which is nothing wrong with that. One of the things I see in the communication component is, I was having this conversation with a client, and people look for agreement and listening. So in other words, and this is in all types of relationships, that's why I say interpersonal relationships. So when people are in disagreement, the first thing they say is, "You're not listening to me."
Well, it's okay to disagree.
But here's the thing:
Right.
we think listening means agreement.
No.
No, I hear you, but I'm not agreeing with you, which is a
Right.
big difference.
Yes.
Right.
And that's because people are looking to confirm or affirm that you're in unison with them. Now you can understand. That's the other word, right? So I can hear you, disagree with you, but understand you.
Right.
Right.
But in the psyche, subconsciously, that's a hard concept for someone conveying a message to somebody or their point of view. And that's what caused a lot of disruption
Right.
in that interaction, sometimes between boss and subordinate or even coworkers and colleagues.
Well, you know what? We're going to take a quick commercial
Right.
break
Okay.
and come back. This is intriguing.
Talk some more about
So
it.
talk some more. I'm ready to go. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
For independent living for seniors age 62 and over, People Inc. offers safe, maintenance-free apartments across Western New York. The affordable rent is income-based. For more information, call People Inc. Senior Living at 817-9090.
Looking for a cooking oil with a light flavor and reduced absorption so food preserves its natural flavor? One with a high smoke point for stir-frying, sautéing, grilling, and baking? Then choose all-natural Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil, imported from France. Grapes have been a key ingredient of the healthy Mediterranean diet for years. Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil is the chef's choice for high-heat cooking, grilling, stir-frying, sautéing, or even deep frying. And Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil is great for baking too, because its delicate taste does not overwhelm the flavor of cakes, cookies, and other favorite recipes. A key traditional ingredient of the Mediterranean, grapeseed oil is a rich source of vitamin E antioxidant and naturally gluten-free. Buy imported Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil today and find great recipes at Pompeian.com.
Wait, don't let this happen to you. At Jan Fence, we're family owned and operated for over 50 years, providing a wide choice of fencing. Why wait online at the big box store? Just call Jan Fence. Ask about our Easy Fence to Go products by Active Yards, the first truly do-it-yourself fence product.
At Jan Fence, we always do what we say. Come see us today.
Well, welcome back. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee. I'm here with my co-host, Charlene Chamberlain. I did that right.
Right, very good. And we're here with Alex Evans.
Thank you once
who has a
again.
really big title, which we'll tell you all about in a little bit. But we were just talking about communication, and during the break I said, sometimes it's just easier to agree to disagree. How do you feel about that?
Well, a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. Here's why. Expectations. So it's the old saying, and I'm sure we heard this adage, and I add a couple components to it. When people show you they are believable, well, here's a couple caveats. One, don't give them what they don't have. Don't take away what they do have. But here's a caveat, but don't treat them differently. The hardest concept to agree to disagree is, if I see you how I think you should be, then guess who never has to make the change? Me.
Right, that's right.
But guess who walks away frustrated all the time?
You.
Me, right? Because you are who you are, and
Right.
at times what we like to do is makes us feel most comfortable in that situation.
True.
So to agree to disagree, a lot of people can't because people hold stuff.
Sure.
You know.
Well, that's the human
They do.
nature.
And people get historical, as they say.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Definitely.
but that's one of the things, and I think as we was talking in the break as well, I think it's great, that's critical is culture.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you deal with the cross-cultural communication along the generational lines as well?
Mhm.
Which
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
Which is a huge component.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot more women that's entered to the workplace. And it's,
Mm-hmm.
to a large degree, certain industries have a lot more diversity.
And
And-
also, as you said, you know, I worked in an office where mostly everyone was under 25.
Whoa.
That's tough
It is tough.
when you're almost, you know, as old as their mom.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and how do you
interesting.
and how do you work in that workflow and then having that kind of communication challenges?
Yeah.
You know, I think the old is new. You know, we just phrase it differently.
Right.
Like we look at, you know, Dear Abby or Pen Pal. That's social media now. They just put that platform where everybody can
Right.
communicate at a very wide base through technology. But as you well know, people communicate more, but they get more isolated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I-
I really say that the technology, even though it does allow us to reach more people, it really is a little bit isolating.
I think you
I
almost have to
agree.
become a chameleon. You know, you have to
Yeah.
adapt to that
Mhm.
stuff. Like, you know, I mean, if you're in a younger environment, maybe you should walk around and tell them, comb your hair, lady. You know what I mean? And they feel like mom's there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, people still feed off of human interaction. Like, as you know, I'm a father and not a mother, but the first critical parts of a baby, an infant, is that mother warmness.
Right.
You know, because they grow in that kind of nurturing
Right.
environment.
Well, yeah, if you remember the stories years ago about the Russian babies that were up for adoption that were never held or touched by
Yeah.
their mothers or in the nurseries or anything, and they had a lot of mental issues because of that.
Yeah, and I would say the sticky stuff, right? So now technology at times causes us not to be sticky.
Right.
Whereas before, close proximity, it was a little sticky. You had to do with stuff. You can be distracted. So you can have conversation at a distance, you know, through technology, right? I call it, this is what I call it. Me and the guy was talking the other day. I call it, you know, they call it road rage.
Right.
You know how you
Right.
10 feet in the car and you
Yeah.
get out, you 2 feet?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing through
Yeah.
social media at times. You
Facebook muscles. That's what I
Facebook
say.
muscles, yeah,
Right.
Facebook
That's
muscles.
what I say.
So, and also with that being said, how we communicate, because these things are critical, because once you put something out there, just because you deleted it from your server, that doesn't mean it's gone.
Never.
And I would say that's the key component too, because now your personal and your professional intersect more now than ever.
Yeah.
Because now companies and organizations begin to look at your other activities, whereas before we didn't have technology where they can really scrutinize who we are and what we do off the job,
Right.
which has caused a lot of kerfuffle
Yeah.
in these
Right.
situations.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about culture, you know, different cultures
Mhm.
coming into the workplace, that's really important. I think, as far as, man, I don't even know how to be like, you manage people, but now you have to manage
All the
the
personalities.
personality, but their
and-
culture. That's
Yeah.
that's tough, man.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm creating this thing right now talking about bias,
Right.
prejudice, culture, race.
Age.
well,
Too, right?
well, I'll say
play into
culture and tribe, right?
Okay.
So within a tribe, a group of people, that's why I'm describing tribe, there are certain nuances in the psyche within that tribe, in that cultural dynamic. So sometimes it's hard to differentiate between bias when I have affinity with a certain group of people based on the cultural context that we all grow up in, or who most comfortable. Here's the thing with diversity. You can come from different cultural experiences in different geographic areas, but where you'll get along is the commonalities that you may have. We both went to college. We both went to Michigan.
Gotcha.
We did this. So you had these affinity groups that causes more similarities than differences. Now, how you begin to communicate those dynamics, what becomes the challenge, or what can be the hindrances, or it can be cohesive. So a lot of times when we look at diversity, I say the difference is not the issue when it comes to cultural thing. It shows what's in you that's uncomfortable. So if you, just being a female, and you come into a male-dominated field, you're not the problem, right? I
That's good. I'm
no,
glad to
no,
hear
I'm just
that.
saying, whatever the different, whatever foreign
Right.
that walks into that environment. It's not
Is kind of the problem.
well, it's
Or
not
the
because
problem.
it's something foreign that we're
It's
not used
different.
to that
Right.
causes discomfort because we haven't yet experienced it.
Right.
So sometimes because you can be a valuable asset coming into that environment,
Mm-hmm.
but if I'm uncomfortable and don't give you opportunity
Right.
to create your own how you want to paint the picture of who you
Mm-hmm.
are, being a part of the team, then that can cause discomfort. So
Right.
I think we lose out that capacity.
Alex, we could have you on for about 3 more hours, but we have to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
When we be back, we'll get your information
Okay.
and talk a little bit more and set a date for you to come back because I'm very intrigued on what you're talking
Okay.
about. We'll be right back.
Step into an extraordinary world that will excite your senses. Experience our delectable Mughlai cuisine and the magic of tandoori savoir-faire. Let our international award-winning team delight you with a taste of heaven. Enjoy our mouth-watering flavors and our unique flair for excellence. Savor the elegance of fine dining and catering. Shazam Restaurant. Indulge your taste buds.
In a world where bankers have lost all interest, where robots and fat cats rule our fortunes, one woman will stand up and strive to do the impossible. Be treated like a person. Friends and neighbors will join her quest. Ordinary people will band together against the forces of corporate greed. And together they will form Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, already in a neighborhood near you.
Imagine the finest hand-selected USDA prime steak you'll ever have. The freshest line-caught seafood, our Wine Spectator award-winning wine list, and soul-satisfying desserts. Bring that together with the perfect date, the winning business deal, a memorable family celebration. Welcome to Rod's Steak and Seafood Grill in nearby Morris.
Well, welcome back. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee. I'm here with my co-host Charlene Chamberlain, and our guest Char.
Is Alex Evans. He is a communication strategist and an interpersonal consultant and coach, and I really think he's a psychologist.
Yes. You need to put a PhD behind that, Alex.
That's you know what on my Twitter handle it's called Common Sense PhD, and PhD stands for Positive Honest Dialogue. So
like that.
you know, I'm glad you gave me that. You did the layup for me. I
That was
appreciate
good.
that.
That was good, man. That was good. No, I'll tell you, some of the stuff you've been talking about is fascinating, and you know, we do have to move on to our next guest, but
Okay.
I want you to give your information.
Okay.
And then, like I said, right after the show, we're going to schedule you come back. I want to talk some more to you about some things you've been kind of working on.
Yeah. Well, I am Alexander Evans, communication strategist. You can contact me at use this one, Alex Evans22@gmail.com. The name of my organization is For Mankind. The number 4 MANKIND.net.
Okay.
Very good.
Cool. Well, we're going to go to a real quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with our next guest.
New Jersey. Bring your appetite and feed your passion.
Your credit score is yours, and at Experian Credit Expert, we want to help you really use it. With access to helpful Experian experts over the phone and online, we can help you use it to get a better idea of what info the banks have on you. Use it to get more choice of mortgages. Use it to make your money go further. Take the next step to improving your financial future with your free 30-day trial at Experian.co.uk.
Here at Freppi's Tex-Mex, you can definitely taste the freshness in our food. You should definitely come to Freppi's because it's a great place. You can bring your family, very kid-friendly. All my servers are amazing, friendly people. Everyone here is just happy to serve, and I think it shows. The thing that sets us apart is the quality and freshness of our food. And I think once you try it, you'd be coming back. I'm Joe DeSario, co-owner of Freppi's Tex-Mex in Plainfield, New Jersey.
We have an attractive orange and a distinguished apple. The two similar, but opposites. Theory, a wingman is needed. Or perhaps a wing lemon. A friend to the orange and an acquaintance to the apple, the lemon brings the two opposites together. See, with a little fresh thinking, the universe can be surprisingly smooth.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at PurinaBeyond.com.
Fitzpatrick's. Deli Dine for breakfast and lunch. And at night, Gourmet Dine for dinner with entrees and specialty sandwiches.